Hey everyone, this is Nico signing in. I'm gonna do a Kung Fu Panda 3 review for you all. I just got home from the cinema. It's a Monday night for me, work night. And just out of the blue, I decided to go to the cinema to watch Kung Fu Panda 3. On a side note, I just did a video about cinemas in Korea. So if you are interested in teaching English in Korea, and you'd like to find out about life in Korea, what cinema's like, do check out the video. Alright, back to the actual video, my Kung Fu Panda 3 review. So I had to write down some notes just to kind of organize my thoughts. So I've got a huge list of pluses and minuses for this Kung Fu Panda 3 review. And by the way, this will be spoiler free. I'll try my best to keep it spoiler free. Alright, we're going to start off with the pluses, what I did enjoy from this film. Let's see, and not in any particular order. First off, let's see, there's a ribbon dancer. Gosh, I forget her name. Oh well, but it's a very memorable name. I can't believe I forgot it, but it's funny. Okay, so this ribbon dancer character. So Kung Fu Panda, not Kung Fu Panda, Po makes his way to a secret hidden panda village. I know I said this is a spoiler-free review, but it's not really a spoiler. So he goes to I guess it's his hometown, the secret panda village, and there's a female ribbon dancer. I guess kind of like the Japanese version of well, it's the Chinese version of the Japanese geisha. So it's a ribbon dancer, and she was a very awesome character. I wish they did more with her. So the way she was she was plastered in makeup, and she's wearing like a very elegant like robe dress thing, and she was a dancer. She had like her sidekick dancers. I don't know what you call them, backstage dancers, and I mean, she looked like a drag queen. She reminded me of Mimi, the character Mimi from the Drew Carey show. And I don't mean, I'm not saying that to be offensive. I mean, I loved Mimi's character from the Drew Carey show, and I'm not likening her to this panda character to Mimi to be offensive to the Chinese ribbon dancers or the culture of the Chinese ribbon dancers, and I'm not meaning to be offensive to the LGBT community by likening her to Mimi, but I mean, and by saying she looked like a drag queen, but honestly, I loved her character. I wish they did more with her. She was hilarious. Like when Po is first introduced to her, she's very like horny, and she's very like she's very much a dirty talker. She was talking dirty to Po, and this was just within seconds of them meeting each other. And what I liked was how Po, he was just like so confused throughout the whole like session when they met, because it was her performance and he was meeting her, and he was just like so confused, and like you couldn't tell as a viewer if he was attracted to her or not. I mean, at first I was kind of confused, but I want to say he wasn't attracted to her. I want to say that, and I like that. I really liked her character. They kind of made her badass toward the end. She had her little badass moment where they gave her nunchucks, and that's all I'm gonna say, and that was really badass. I really liked that. I wish they developed her character a lot more, but it was quite a short film, very short. It was a bit over an hour, I think. So yeah, that's the first plus. Next one, let's see. By the way, it's a bit noisy. That's Garnet. That's my dog. She's playing with her toy. I put a sweet inside of her like ball thing, so if you hear that, I do apologize. Let's see. Master Oogway. Master Oogway, if you don't know or if you need a refresher, Master Oogway, who could forget Master Oogway? Master Oogway is the tortoise A lot of people say it's a turtle. I like to think it's a tortoise, because there is a difference between tortoise and a turtle. Master Oogway, the tortoise. He is like one of my favorite characters. I like him more than Poe, actually. But Master Oogway, I love how he gets like his time to shine in this film, and he does get a super badass moment, and that's at the beginning. That's all I say. That's all I will say, is Master Oogway gets a super badass moment in the beginning of the film, and it's right at the. I believe it's at the very start of the film, the very beginning. Yes, and what could be a better way to start this this third installment in the Kung Fu Panda series than having Master Oogway in his ultimate badassery? Just pretty awesome, so yeah, like honestly. I knew Kung Fu Panda 3 was out, and I was kind of eyeballing it, but I didn't want to see. I wasn't in a hurry to see it. Were it not for my students, because I'm an English teacher, and my students told me, "Oh, Master Oogway, the turtle, he's alive. He's not dead anymore." So it's like, what? So I had to see it, but I'm not gonna say anything too much about it. But he's not alive per se, but you will see him in an ultimate badass moment at the very start of the film. So if you're a fan of Master Oogway, you're gonna want to see Kung Fu Panda 3. Alright, next, let's see. Okay, so moving on to someone just as almost badass as Master Oogway, Kai. So there's a new villain in this installment of the Kung Fu Panda series. His name is Kai. That's an awesome name. And Kai he's an ox. I want to say he's a bull, but he really is an ox, and he's such a badass. He's such a badass. But I will get to my negative thoughts about this character. But I'll start off with the huge plus, and he is such a badass. Kai, he's this ox, and he dual wields these ginormous chained. I want to say swords, though they're not like thin swords. They're like huge, like in MMORPG games. They have these giant two-handed swords. Like they're very thick. The blade is so thick, and he's dual wielding two of those on chains. And I think that's such a badass weapon. I think it's super awesome. And what he does is, let's see. Oh, by the way, I do believe, because when I went to UCLA, I took one of my senior classes was history of the ancient Mongols, and I studied a lot of Kublhai Khan, and he definitely, I'd like to say, he definitely is a reference to Kublai Khan, just how he looks, and he's just super awesome. And let's see. I love the concept of so with every foe that he fells, that he defeats in battle, I won't say too much. I don't want to give away too much, but after he fells them, and I'm skipping a huge major step in between. I'm skipping it. I'm just going to skip on to say that every foe that he fells, he is able to like drain or harness their like this fallen foe, and he takes them and puts them into a form of like a jade pendant, and he carries them around on like a chain, like a belt, kind of a chain belt. And I think that's awesome. And he's able to summon these as jade zombie fighters. And I'll speak more about that later. But yes, I didn't want to give away too much, but he's able to take his fallen foes and put them into the form of a jade pendant that he can then resummon into battle. And he uses them as eyes on the battlefield. That's super awesome. Okay, that's enough. That's all I'll say about Kai. as a badass villain. So next up, metamorphosis. What I like to say what I like to call a metamorphosis or a transformation of Po. So I don't remember exactly in Kung Fu Panda 1 his moment of transformation, metamorphosis, when he becomes super awesome. I think it's the one where he flies into the sky and then does like a flying down kick or a smash fist onto whatever the villain was in 1. I believe it was a bull, or was it an alligator? No, it was like a jaguar or a panther. Yeah, for the first one. But in Kung Fu Panda 2, Po is just super badass. He gets this awesome metamorphosis transformation scene in the end. I'm going to assume you've seen Kung Fu Pandas 1 and 2, so this is not a spoiler for that film. But in the end, where he does this like giant glowing mass, this giant glowing ball globe, kind of like a Kamehameha from Dragon Ball Z. So that's his metamorphosis transformation scene, and in this Kung Fu Panda 3 film, he definitely gets an awesome metamorphosis transformation scene, though I don't think it's comparable to Kung Fu Panda 2, where he does that giant, beautiful finishing move with a golden ball of light, a globe of light. He definitely has something like it in this film, and I do earnestly believe that the producers of this film tried their hardest to give him a much more badass metamorphosis moment, but I think they kind of failed. I mean, I do give them props. It was beautiful, but in Kung Fu Panda 2, the ending scene where he gets his metamorphosis scene is just... It's just amazing. It's beautiful. It's like transcending. Like Po is out on the ocean, like the harbor of the city. He's on the ocean water, and he's like just, and then there's this giant golden ball of light, like something he just summoned from heaven, and uses it as his weapon. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful scene. So yeah, I mean, this is still a plus. He still gets his nice metamorphosis transformation moment in this film. All right, next up we have another plus. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna try and organize my thoughts. So let's move on to like family. The theme of family. So in this film, Po, you already know, like at the very end of Kung Fu Panda 2, he finds out, or I don't remember if he finds out, but I know for sure we as the audience, and I think that's awesome if it's only us that finds out and not Po. We find out that Po has a father, and that was just awesome. Okay, I think it is us who finds out, just us as the audience, not Po himself. Because in this scene where he meets his father, in this film when he meets his father, he's super, like, flabbergasted. But yeah, so in this film, Po has his birth father, which is the panda, and then he has his adoptive father, which is the goose. And, yeah, he's a goose. And I think it was awesome, and I wish they could have done more with this, but having two dads, I mean, it's the 21st century. I mean, two dads, they could have done more with that. Like they had like a scene kind of in the middle, and then one more kind of towards the end, where they kind of hint at, like, you know, haha, nudge, nudge, he's got two dads. They kind of very subtly hint at that, but they don't really do much with it. I think they wussed out. They could have done more, especially when they introduce a character who I perceive to be like a drag character, the ribbon dancer. I wish they could have done more with that. They didn't, and they really could have done more. But I'll still give them props. That's still a plus on my list, because I mean, just the notion of two fathers it's both hilarious, and I'm not trying to be offensive, but it's hilarious and it's awesome. It's really like kind of encouraging, you know, like, yeah, we're accepting we're accepting of two dads. They could have done more with that, though. But that's still a plus on my list. And moving on to more of the family thing. So there's, they do an homage, kind of, to the flashback that Po has, back in Kung Fu Panda 2, Po gets a flashback, where he's haunted by this flashback of when he was a baby, and how, like, there's a scene where his mom, Panda, is running away from the major villain, back in Kung Fu Panda 2, which was the Crane, who I think is an awesome, badass, villain. I think he's more badass than the one in this film, but the one in this film looks more badass. That one, I guess he's badass too, but actually he's actually even more wickedly badass because he's like very slender and he's like a freaking peacock. And he's not like your ideal go-to badass wicked villain because he's very slender, thin, but he's very elegant and fancy. I think he's more conniving. He's more of a badass, but I digress. So yeah, so back in Kung Fu Panda 2, where Po is having nightmares / flashbacks, and we as the viewers get a vision of him. His mom escaping from the Crane, the Emperor Crane or whatever, who's come to kill off all the pandas, and she's running in the snow at night in a forest, and she puts Po in like a basket full of groceries, which we as the viewers perceive to be the goose's like market wares, and then she runs off, like she distracts the soldiers, and then you see the soldiers run after her, and the shadow of the villain, the peacock villain. So we are convinced as an audience to believe that she has died, that she was killed there. Quite sad. So. We do get this very same flashback. They don't show anything else. I mean, it's the exact same flashback now that I think about it, but it's still a plus on my list on this review because it was very much meant to be like a tearjerker scene, and I definitely kind of teared up, like my eyes watered up. I mean, it's the exact same flashback. I wish they did more, but I'll still give this as a plus because I did like how they had it as an homage. I like to call it like the Moses mother scene. All right, so enough of that. I think that's everything for like family. Oh yeah, another plus: the scroll painting flashbacks. So we see the return of like the ancient Chinese like artwork of like scroll painting. And I love that. It just feels so. It feels like so historic. It feels so epic whenever you see that. And I'm glad that they don't overdo it. I'm glad that they keep it short. So you do see a return of that. And if you don't remember what I'm talking about, it's like the where the animation of the film completely changes into like water painting on like Chinese scrolls on parchment paper, and it looks amazing. It's so intense. It's beautiful. Like the colors are much more rich. They're intense. They like shout out at you. They're very bold, and I do love that they keep it to a minimum. So we do see a return of that. I believe it's at the beginning. Also they also show a bit of it in the middle when they explain the pandas, more about the pandas. And again, I'm trying to keep it spoiler free, so I'm not going to say anything else. Let's see. I think okay, 3 more. Okay, I've got 3 more pluses. Jeez, this is a very long review. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so at the end, towards the end, Po gets a choice. Something happens to Po, and he gets a choice at the end. And I thought it was amazing. It was really nice. I wish they did more with it, though, because this does show up on my negatives. And I'll talk more about that later. But it's still a plus on my list. He gets a choice. He has to choose between 2 very, very important things. And I mean, his choice is a no-brainer, but still, it has you as an audience, at least me, I was like, wow, he's got two very tough decisions. I mean, it's his life's ambition, his, like, dream, his passion that he has to choose, or something else. And I'm not going to say there's something else. I mean, I kind of want to say what it is, because it's kind of basic, but I'll not say it. Go see the film. Alright, two more pluses. Okay, sacrifice. Okay, yeah. So this made it onto my list of pluses. So Poe gets his, like, sacrificial moment, his moment of sacrifice, like I like to call it. I'm not sure if they had it in Kung Fu Panda 1, but in Kung Fu Panda 2, for sure, he had a moment where he sacrificed himself, where he went above all else, just to put his own life in danger to save and protect those he loves, and you get that in this film. Again, I wish they did more with it, but it's still a very nice, very touching scene. Harkening back to Kung Fu Panda 2, at the end, I'd like to say his moment of sacrifice was at the end where he's on the harbor, on the ocean water, and he did his giant, before he did his giant move or whatever, where you think he's dead because, you know, you've got the wicked villain Crane, Emperor, and he and his fleet of seagoing army vessels, they're all, you know, it's a very, very epic scene, and they're all, you know, it's the entire ocean of sea vessels that belong to the Crane, him and his army, versus just Poe. This is super epic. And you get the scene where you think Poe is dead, but of course you know he's not dead. But still, you're led to believe that he's dead. It's very convincing for like a millisecond. And he gets a scene here of sacrificial moment as well. But I still think Kung Fu Panda 2's sacrificial moment was much better. Alright, final item on my list of pluses for this Kung Fu Panda 3 review is simply chit-chat. I won't say any more. It's not a spoiler. It's not because it's a spoiler and I'm wanting to hold back from you. I just want to say chit-chat. It's super funny. Go see Kung Fu Panda 3. Alright, because this movie, I honestly didn't think it would be this long. It's, what is it, 22 minutes, 38 seconds, jeez. So I'm gonna have to split this review into two. So yeah, this will be, well, thank you for watching my review of Kung Fu Panda 3, the pluses, what I enjoyed from the film. Do check out the next part of this review, where I'll focus on the minuses, the negatives. Even though I do have quite a bit of a list of minuses, still go see Kung Fu Panda 3. Alright, thank you so much for viewing. This is Nico signing off. Take it easy, everyone.